You know, ever since the dawn of civilization, we've been trying to control water. But today, our ambition has just exploded to a planetary scale. I mean, we're not just building dams anymore. We are literally re-engineering entire water cycles. So to really get a grip on what this means, we're going to dive into two of the most colossal water projects on the entire planet.
Just think about that for a second. What if you could literally move a river or build a mountain of concrete to stop one in its tracks? I mean, these aren't questions from some sci-fi novel. This is the reality of modern engineering. It's an incredible testament to human ingenuity and our relentless drive to lock down our most precious resource. That is the scale we're talking about today.
All right, let's meet our two main characters. In one corner, you've got China's South to North Water Diversion Project. We'll just call it the SNW. It's basically a massive man-made river system designed to quench the thirst of the country's dry north. And in the other corner, there's Ethiopia's Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, or the GERD. It's a hydropower behemoth that's set to become the energy powerhouse of East Africa. So you've got two giants, right? Solving two very different problems, but both are fundamentally changing the world around them. So the big question is, why? Why go to such incredible, almost unbelievable lengths? Well, the answer, like it so often is, boils down to the promise of progress, national development, and, of course, security. For these nations, controlling water means controlling their own destiny. Let's start with the GERD over in Ethiopia. Just look at this number, nearly 16,000 gigawatt hours. That is a staggering amount of electricity, and it's all generated by the raw power of the Blue Nile River. We're not just talking about keeping the lights on here, we're talking about fundamentally reshaping the economy of an entire region. So what does that huge number actually mean? Well, this slide breaks it down into real-world impact. The GERD is on track to literally double Ethiopia's entire electricity supply. Think about that. This is the kind of power that fuels industrial growth, that slashes the productivity lost to power outages, and it's expected to earn over $1 billion a year just by exporting clean energy. It's a catalyst for a massive economic transformation. Okay, now let's jump over to China, where the challenge they're facing is completely different. The crisis here isn't about a lack of energy, it's a critical, desperate lack of water. The North China Plain, which is home to megacities like Beijing, is one of the most water-stressed places on Earth, and that threatens its people, its farms, and its industries. And here is the sheer scale of their solution. The plan is to move almost 45 times billion cubic meters of water every single year from the water-rich south to the arid north. Now, to help you picture that, that's enough water to fill about 18 million Olympic-sized swimming pools. Yeah, it's a lifeline on a scale it's hard to even comprehend. All of it piped across the country through thousands of kilometers of newly built canals. But this is where our story takes a crucial turn. Because, as you can probably guess, this level of intervention doesn't come for free. There's always a cost. And look, while the GERD faces its own intense geopolitical and social challenges, I'm talking disputes over water rights, displacing communities, the SNWD project in China gives us over a decade of hard data on the long-term ecological price you pay for this kind of massive hydrological surgery. When you fundamentally alter a river's natural course, you end up unleashing this whole cascade of complex and often totally unintended consequences. Let's just take one of the source rivers for the project, the Hanjiang River. This table here tells a pretty stark story. As water got diverted away, the river's flow naturally dropped. And with less water to dilute pollutants, the quality got way worse. This messed up the spawning grounds for major carp species, which are a huge part of the local ecosystem and the economy, while fish that thrive in still waters started to take over. The river was, well, fundamentally broken. And here's a direct result of that. You see, a healthy, flowing river can actually clean itself. It's an amazing natural process. But when you slow it down, its ability to self-purify just plummets. And in the Hanjiang, this has led to these massive, really harmful algal blooms that choke the water and do even more damage to the ecosystem. These projects also create something that ecologists have a great name for, an invasion highway. Think about it. By connecting river basins that have been totally separate for thousands, maybe millions of years, you're essentially rolling out a red carpet for invasive species to just march into new territories where they have zero natural predators. And the effects just keep rippling outwards from there. With less fresh water flowing out of the Yangtze, you get more salt water creeping inland from the sea, which threatens coastal water supplies. You get the spread of nasty biofouls like the golden mussel.
And there's this broader risk of what scientists call biohomogenization. It's where unique, distinct ecosystems kind of blur together and lose the very biodiversity that made them special.
Okay, so despite all those serious ecological concerns, you still have to just stand in awe of the sheer engineering achievement here. These projects are marvels, and they were built in fundamentally different ways, each one perfectly tailored to its job. The design philosophies are just night and day. The SNW's middle route is literally a brand new man-made river, a concrete canal stretching over 1,400 kilometers long. The GERD, on the other hand, is basically a concrete mountain. It's a massive gravity dam built with 10 million cubic meters of special concrete just to hold back the immense force of the Blue Nile. And all of this brings us to what might be the central question of the 21st century. We now have the power to pull off these incredible feats of engineering, but should we? How do we possibly weigh these undeniable, massive benefits against the very real and sometimes irreversible costs? This slide really just captures that dilemma perfectly, doesn't it? On one side of the scale, you have the promise: energy security, life-saving water for millions, explosive economic growth. But on the other side, you have the price: broken ecosystems, lost species, and that nagging question of whether we've just gone too far in our quest to control nature. You know, the scientific review of the SNWD project does offer a little hint of a path forward. It suggests that these massive engineering projects, they can't be the only answer. They have to be combined with smarter, more sustainable practices, things like serious water conservation and recycling, if we want to create a water system that's truly resilient. So, what's the big takeaway here? As we face these growing challenges, from climate change to population growth, are we going to see more of these planet-altering projects? Are they a brilliant solution to our biggest problems, or are they a cautionary tale that we're one day going to regret? I think that's the question these two giants really leave us with.